Okay, guys. I am really surprised that I've not made an episode about this because this is probably one of the things that I talk about the most with my friends and my family and like my immediate social circle. This is like up there with probably one of my biggest pet peeves, and that is people pleasers. I'm actually like baffled. I feel like I might have touched upon it in other episodes here and there, but like the fact that I don't have a dedicated podcast to it is quite crazy because I have such strong opinions on people pleasing and the ways in which I think being friends with people who are self-confessed people pleasers, even people who are people pleasers that don't realize they're people pleasers, is so damaging to you, especially if you are on the track, like on the path to becoming secure, or you are secure, or you're trying to better yourself, whatever. So I want to first start with a disclaimer because usually whenever I have this conversation with someone new, there's like an initial pushback. I get it every time, it's like, but it usually stems from trauma, and it usually stems from insecurity, and it usually stems from growing up in a hard environment where you had to people please to like not be abused. Like, okay, I hear you and I get that, and I completely understand people pleasing as a trauma response. Like, I completely understand that. However, and this is where I think people think I'm harsh and people think I'm a bitch. And, like, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm happy if you want to think I'm a bitch. Like, that really doesn't faze me. Because we all get to a point in our lives. Like, I'm 24 years old. My brain is near to developed. And, this point will come at different stages in everyone's life. But you will get to a point where you realise you can't use your trauma as an identity trap. And what I mean by that is I think a lot of people that perpetuate negative behaviors, whether that's people pleasing or like mass hysteria, insecurity, mass projection, like hyper jealousy, vindictiveness, whatever those traits are, they are all secondary responses of trauma. That doesn't make it okay, Like, I had to go through some really harsh realizations back in the day, like, a few years ago when I was like, oh, I'm being a massive bitch, but I'm blaming it on my trauma, or I'm blaming it on my neurodivergence, or I'm blaming it on, it's like, it's an explanation, but it's not an excuse. And that's kind of the first thing that I wanted to start this episode with saying, is that you are allowed to be traumatized. You are not allowed to then inflict trauma on others because of your inability to deal with your shit, And again, if you're listening to this and you are 18 and under, this does not apply to you. Like, I think if you are still a child, you kind of have a bit more leeway because, you're not at a point where you should have to be self-sufficient for all of your flaws yet. And if you want to be, and you care about your development and things like that, that is great and that is amazing. But like, I would never expect someone, honestly, like under the age of like, I would say like maybe like 21 to 25. I know that's like a broad age gap, but like, I know that people do develop at different rates. Like, I would never expect someone under the age of, let's say, 21 to be completely aware of their pitfalls or like have any awareness of their pitfalls, because I just think that is, I don't like the argument, of like forcing children to grow up. I think when you're a child, let a child be a child. You know what I mean? Like, they've got time. However, if you are older than that and you're a self-confessed people pleaser, we won't be friends. I've had this discussion a lot of people saying, like the trauma debate. It's like, oh, I'm a people pleaser because of what I've been through. And I'll explain to you the reasons that I don't like people pleasers. I'm sure you can also tell as well, I'm quite passionate about this topic, and I probably sound like I'm being a right bitch right now. So I do apologise if this is somewhat triggering for you. It's triggering for me too. Just because I feel like my experiences with people pleasers are infuriating. And like, I'm quite lucky to be surrounded by people who will hold me accountable or call me out, or, you know, don't expect me to like pander to their every need. And I like that. Like, I like being around people that motivate me to be better or do better, or, you know, want the best for me. I also feel like it limits the potential for resentment. I'm not saying resentment can't grow outside of being a people pleaser, because it absolutely can. But I do think one of the fastest causes of resentment being apparent in a relationship is people pleasing, because you're not being honest. And I guess, like, I'll go into like some of the traits of people pleasing, because I think a lot of people see people pleasing, especially people that like are people pleasers, they see it as like, I'm just trying to like make everyone around me happy, and like I'm just trying to like have everyone get on, and like I'm just like, if I keep myself small then no one will be mean to me. And it's like, you're just a liar. Like, you're just a liar that doesn't know what they want and doesn't know how to be honest with anyone else. And then you start resenting people because you've fabricated this whole ideology of who you are and what you stand for, and, you know, this whole sitting on the fence thing. Like, you're not consistent. Like, I think my main issue with people pleasers is the lack of consistency. You never know what their opinion is when you're not around. You know what their opinion is around you, because their opinion around you is exactly the same as your opinion. You know, there's no individual thought process. They can't think for themselves. They don't want to come to any like independent realization. It's all based off of what I think, or what their other friend thinks, or whatever. And this is why I personally like, I think I came to this realization a few years ago that I refuse to be friends with people pleasers, because especially if they're friends with people that you don't like, or you know that they don't like you, you know that they are not defending your name in that room if you're not there. Because that goes against everything that they stand for, which is crisis mitigation. They don't want to deal with potential conflict, because to stand up for you would go against any kind of sitting on the fence-ism that they have. You know, it's like if your name's being slandered in a group full of people that don't like you, and then they're like, hey, that's not fair, or come on, let's stop now. They're opening themselves up to criticism, because they're going to get, well, you said the same thing last week, or you've never said anything before, or, you know, just the potential for some kind of disagreement or questioning, you know. And I think one thing that I've noticed about people pleasers over my years is they have pretty much no communication skills. Like I said, will just kind of agree with you, and like they might be really good at sounding profound and sounding like they've got great communication skills, because they can basically use your own methods against you. Like, if you are someone who is educated and smart and switched on and politically aware and socially aware, they will just absorb that all like a sponge. Another reason I don't like people pleasers, they're just fucking leechy. Like, I'm sorry that this is such a negative episode, but like, I have not spoken about this ever, and like all my friends know, like, I do not stand for a yes man. Like, get that away from me. It's poisonous behavior. Like, if you are a yes man, remove yourself, please. Like, I just can't deal with a yes man. But yeah, they will basically leech off of your ideologies to make them sound smarter, appear more switched on, or appear more aligned with you. And this is one of the things that I struggle with most, is it feels like a manipulation tactic, because they are taking your intelligence, your self-developed ideologies that you have probably learned through your own trauma and your own healing. They are taking your ideas, your logic, your reasoning, your rationing, your political views, your social views, your economic views. Like, they are taking all of these things. And I am not saying that you can't, like, I am someone who really likes to kind of bounce back and forth on ideas with people. I think it's a really good thing to learn from other people and adopt someone's philosophy if it fits in with your worldview. However, you give them credit where credit's due, and you also are aware that that is then part of your philosophy and it does not change when you're speaking to someone who doesn't agree with you. For example, I don't like Israel as a state. That's not going to change just because I'm talking to someone from Israel. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I know that's quite like a stark comparison there, but I'm not going to change my opinion. Like, if someone has educated, right, say the first person that ever educated me on Israel, and I was like, okay, wow, you're so knowledgeable. I'm going to take this knowledge. I will always give you credit. You will always be the person that I learned this information from. But I'm not then going to be speaking to someone from Israel and be like, I love you so much. Like, yeah, like, kill all the people. Do you know what I mean? Like, no. Like, no. It's like, you have to, like, almost give credit where credit's due, but also stand on business. Like, stand up for something. Like, I don't know. I just think it's such an icky trait to claim someone's personality traits or identity traits or you know, adhere to someone's philosophy and then kind of like reject it the second you're around someone that it doesn't benefit, or it doesn't get you into a room, or it doesn't like benefit you to have that same philosophy. Like, it feels like, and I've spoken to so many people about this that feel the same way, and we've all agreed that, like, it feels like you're using us. Like, it feels like we're being used to, like, get you in the right room or get you around the right people, or, you know, and it's just, like, a really weird feeling. It's like, my culture is not your costume. Like, for real, though, like, I know that's probably not the right response in that moment, but it's like my personality traits and, like, my identity and who I have worked for years to become, like, I am proud of the growth that I have achieved, you know, and it's like, that is very individual to me because everyone's trauma is going to be different. Everyone's lived experiences are going to be different. And if you are someone that has worked so hard to get to where you are, I also find it particularly offensive, and I have spoken about this before, when people use something that you used to get, like, bullied for or like picked on for, but is now like a cool trait. People use that or like leech it off of you, and like they skipped past the whole like bullying part and being made fun of part. Like, they've skipped past all of that and they're just reaping the rewards for something that has like cost you like blood, sweat and tears. Do you know what I mean? Like, I had this with an ex-boyfriend. I read tarot, and this was years ago. Like, this was how old am I? This was like 4 years ago. I used to get absolutely ripped the shit out of by his friends for reading tarot. Like, they would just like absolutely mock me for it until I started doing them all readings, and then they were like, oh, okay, like, you kind of know what you're talking about. And I was like, yeah. It was like to the point, like, he wouldn't let me read tarot around him. He wouldn't let me read tarot around his friends. Like, he like massively rejected my spirituality. Hugo, this isn't about you, although you did reject my spirituality as well. But sorry, I just needed to throw that in there. And then there was a time, like, his friends would come to me like one-on-one and be like, hey, like, you know, can we like, I don't know, can I like just have a reading and see? All of a sudden, Mads posted up on his fucking Instagram story with a deck of cards, pretending he knows how to read tarot, pretending to be some like enlightened soul, when he's just been shaming me for it for the last 2 months. Like, what? And that's what I mean by these people will literally leech off of any element of your personality as soon as they see some kind of benefit for them. And that's what I mean when I say, like, it's selfish and it's entitled, because they'll never understand the struggle that it took you to get to where you are. And I also think another thing with people pleasers is there is always going to be, and okay, if you're a people pleaser and you're listening to this and you're probably thinking, oh my God, this girl doesn't understand me at all. Like, she doesn't know the struggle of like being traumatized. I do. I really, really do. Like, I have been in your shoes, but it is a choice. Like, you are making the choice every day to oppress yourself and stay down instead of reclaiming your power, because you're assuming so much that everything's about you, and it's not. Like, one of the biggest things that I had to realize when I was like starting to develop people-pleasing tendencies was okay, this is like the main thing that I came to is, okay, I'm trying so hard to please this person. I'm trying anything I can to make this person happy, and they're still not happy with me. Oh, I hate them so much. Like, nothing's ever good enough for them. Why? Like, I'm doing all these things for them. I've done all of these things for them. I buy them things. I love them so much. Like, we do all the things they want. We never do what I want. And remember, like, I do all of these things for them, and they're still miserable. They're still annoyed at me, or they're still not giving me the reaction that I want. Okay, so you're manipulating them, and then you're not happy that they're not giving you the response that you want. And you might be like, I'm not manipulating them. I just want them to be happy. You are actively denying them the truth because you want them to be happy. Like, you're not doing what you want to do because you're worried that if you do what you want to do, it's going to cause some kind of reaction. And if it does, sack them off. Like, sorry, but if you want to go for a walk and I want to go to the gym, if that's going to piss them off and you're like, oh, I'll just come for a walk with you anyway, that's not a good friend. Like, if you genuinely are in a relationship where you have to people please your friend, or like you can't set any boundaries around your friend, that ain't a friend. I'm sorry to break it to you. Like, that is not someone that you should be around or want to be around. Like, and again, it kind of comes to that thing of like, grow a backbone. Like, because when you grow a backbone, you'll realize who is a good friend or not, because people that are good friends don't care if you have boundaries. They don't care if you set, oh, I don't want to do this today, but we can do this thing another day. They're not going to be annoyed about that. Like, I also think as well, a thing with people pleasing is like, if you're so used to doing what other people want, you don't even know what you like to do, And it comes back to that thing of, it's like, when they're not pleased with you, you start growing resentment towards them. You're like, oh my God, like, I've done all this stuff and they're still whinging, or they're still moaning, or they're still miserable. So it's like, okay, stop doing it then. And it's like that simple. And I just feel like this whole yes man thing, to me, is always going to err on the side of disloyalty. And it's funny because I think these people that are people pleasers have this idea that they are hyper loyal and like hyper committed to this person, whether you're in like a romantic relationship, a platonic relationship, whether it's a work type relationship, whatever it is. If you are one of these people that is consistently pandering to someone else, stand up. That person does not, in the nicest possible way. I love my friends. I would do anything for my friends, like, and my family. Like, I would bend over backwards. I would cross oceans and rivers for my friends and family if they needed me to. But if they want to go for a run and I want to go to the gym, like, is it that deep? Like, it's not that deep. And if there will be consequences for that, oh, piss off. Like, it's actually a joke. Like, I'm sorry, it's a joke. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's just not that deep. Like, it never needs to be that deep. And it's just like, it becomes this thing, and it's like this identity of like, I'm a people pleaser and no one understands what it's like to be so giving and be so loving, and like, it's like, you're actually just really annoying and you're really insecure, and like, you need to work on yourself. And like, I think again, like, this whole concept of like insecurity, I just watched this TikTok video actually of this like really well-spoken woman. Let me find her username. Okay, I can't find it. She's gone. But she was basically talking about how insecure people are so draining to be around because they just constantly make everything about them. And I just feel like there's always this level of, like, when you talk about things like this, there's always this level of people being like, you're so harsh and you're so mean, and like, like, you're the reason people are insecure. And it's like, okay, like, that's fine. Like, if that's what you think, like, that's all well and good. But it's like, to me, I used to be quite an insecure person, and I was like very hyper aware of what other people thought of me. And I was very like, even I've said this before, like, the whole reason I started my podcast was because I wanted to prove that I wasn't some fucking like dumb bitch. Like, I wanted to prove that I was like intellectual and people would take me seriously, and like I was like, please, like, look, like I'm smart, I have a brain, like, oh my god, please, like. And I realized, like, over time that I'm just doing that because I'm insecure that people aren't going to think I'm smart enough. And that's embarrassing. Like, I'm not doing that for myself. I'm not doing that. I'm doing everything to cater to other people, or to like make myself appear a certain way. It's literally yes manism on a mass scale, and it's embarrassing. And that's why, like, you know, if you listen to my old episodes, you can kind of hear it. Like, I was a lot more calculated on what I said, and I was a lot more like, I would like stop swearing, and like now it's like, I don't care, like this platform is for me. Like, I will say what I want to say, I will do what I want to do, and if you don't like it, you don't have to listen. Like, that is so fine. And my content is not for everyone. Like, my content is for a very select group of people that, in my opinion, have a brain, you know, and are switched on, and like are unbiased, and, you know, politically aware, and care about something bigger than themselves, and are able to understand complexities of situations. Like, things aren't black and white. And I think a big thing with people that are hyper insecure or people pleasers, and that often goes hand in hand, is everything is very black and white, especially with the person that they're trying to please. They're either pleased or they're not pleased. And they spend all their time trying to figure out how this person feels about them. And it's like, all you're doing is thinking about how people perceive you, which is so draining. And again, I say all of this because I have been in this position of like mass hysteria of like, what do people think about me, and do people like me? And I'm like, oh my god, like, I grew up not very liked in school. I was annoying, and we were all annoying in school. Do you know what I mean? Like, people didn't really like me that much in school. And then it's funny because I'll talk to someone like in the year below, and they'll be like, oh, I always thought you were like popular. And I was like, what? This is the thing, like, you never know what someone's perception of you is. You never know, unless obviously someone's being mean to you and rude to you, and they're like, I don't like you, or I think you're this, or whatever. But like, that's not like a mass generalization. And it's like, if someone was mean to you one time, or like, fine, 10 times, someone bullied you a long time ago, even recently, that's on them. That's not on you. Like, stop making it about you. Like, that's on them. Like, they clearly have an issue with themselves that they feel the need to project that onto you. But what you then don't need to do is repeat that cycle. And like, I think what people have a tendency to do is they'll hear one thing about themselves, and because they're insecure and they have like no security or sense of self-worth, they will assume that it must be true. And we're all guilty of this. This is not like a new phenomenon that I'm discussing, but people that are hyper insecure, or, you know, people pleasers, yes men, just assume that then everyone has this belief about them, and then they will do anything to try and mitigate it. You know, it's like, I'm trying to think of an example of something that happened to me so long ago, and I kind of don't give a fuck anymore about it. But like, I'm trying to think, like, what do people used to... Oh yeah, people always used to be like, to me, like, a big thing that I would always get told is like, oh my god, you're so outspoken, or you're so loud, or you're so annoying. So obviously, what do I do to try and counteract that? Be quiet. It's not in my nature to be quiet, so it didn't work very well. But like, I would try and be quiet, and then people would be like, oh, you're so moody. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And then so I'd try and be like happy. And do you see what I mean? It's like, I didn't need to change my behavior. I just needed to change who I was around. Because if I'm around people that are also loud, or like it being around people that are loud or more outspoken, they would never have said those things. I didn't need to change my behavior in the first place. A difference if someone is calling you out and being like, hey, I think you're a racist, or I think you're misogynistic, or I think whatever, like, yeah, you should work on those traits. But if someone's like, oh my god, you're so outspoken, like, I will never forget this guy. And like, when I was in like year 9 or something, was like, oh my god, you're so outspoken. And I remember being like, no, this is the worst thing ever, I'm outspoken, oh my god. And like, I think when I turned like 18, I remember being like, oh, what a compliment. Do you know what I mean? Like, what a compliment. But it's, again, that thing of like reframing things and not letting your trauma just consume you and kind of turn you into part of the problem, because I do think that does happen. It's like the abused becomes the abuser. Like, you'll spend all your time worrying about how you're being perceived, without realizing you're perpetuating all of those behaviors that you don't like from someone else onto other people. It's like, oh, someone was aggressive towards you once, now you're being aggressive towards everyone else. Someone was like moody with you once and snapped at you, now you're snapping at everyone else. Like, you know, and it's like so easy to call out these traits in other people. Like, I think I spoke about this recently, but like one of the things that I've noticed in myself a lot this year is that I'm a massive hypocrite. And the reason that I came to that conclusion is because I was able to call this out in other people. I was like, you're being a hypocrite. And it's like, if you are repeatedly able to call traits out in someone else over and over again, especially if it's multiple different people, likelihood is you possess that trait for yourself, and that person is holding up a mirror to the things in yourself that you cannot yet confront. You know, I've always said this, if you're triggered by someone, likelihood is you hold that trait within yourself. Like, if someone is doing something that makes you feel a way, reflect. And if you have genuinely reflected and you're like, I don't think I hold that trait, all well and good, but like, honestly, reflect. Like, that is, I'm going to leave you people pleasers. If you are a people pleaser, I doubt you've listened to this whole thing. You probably think I'm a right bitch. Like, left me like a 1-star review. Absolutely fine. Leave a hate comment if you want, honestly. But I will leave you with this thought, because my brain is about to turn off and I will run out of words. Think about other people for a change, and not in the sense of what you can do for them. Think about whether you actually like them. Like, this literally changed the whole trajectory of my thought process. If I feel a way about someone and I'm worried about, do they like me? Do I even like them? Do I like the way they talk to me? Do I like the time they make for me? Do I like the boundaries that they have in place for me? Do I think they treat me with respect? Like, how do I feel about them instead of how do they feel about me? And that will change the game for you. Thank you for listening. Sorry, this was so like passionate and intense. Also, I'm not angry. I'm just Arabic, all right? Like, everyone always says, oh my God, you're so angry, so angry. I'm not. I'm just really passionate about this topic. So thanks for listening, guys. I really appreciate it. And hopefully next time you hear from me, I'll be calmer and like less irate. Thank you so much. Love you. Bye.